uncle could be holding on to the tempered sword. And it looks like we are off. And the uncle says it's dangerous to go alone. See ya. And we begin with the power gloves in Link's house. What a way to start. Those early gloves basically make Back of Escape pretty much inconsequential whether or not our runners pick up a bomb. Now, this is standard mode, so we will be going through the escape sequence through the dungeon. We have an early map check with a green pendant at Tower of Hera and regular crystals on Eastern and Desert. Just syncing you guys up here, and we are going to go get our Uncle Assured sword right away. Goomba the first to get that sword. Now, ideally, what both of our runners are going to want is a bomb. And that's actually why Illis picked up that rock, because there is a chance that it can generate a bomb. And Goomba, with a bomb already, good start. So that bomb will be important for getting into the Back of Escape. Now, they both have the power gloves, as mentioned previously, so they'll be able to get in from near the sanctuary either way. And Illis getting a bomb off the same guard, and in fact, they found 3 bombs in the chest near the uncle anyway, so bombs should not be an issue for the start of this season. Illis showing a little bit of frustration of getting bombs in the chest right after picking one up. Or I guess it's... oh, and we get a boomerang in the first chest to the front of Escape. Now, one thing we have to see sometime before we reach Zelda Cell is that we have to see, or right at or after Zelda Cell, is we have to see a small key in a chest. That is the key that will allow us to pass through the Dark Cross. We have not seen either that or the map. Goomba picking up the big key and picking up the map, which means that the chest in Dark Cross is guaranteed to be the small key. Illis spent a tiny bit of extra time trying to find a bomb in the rocks in front of Link's house because those have a bomb drop chance. Both runners did a map check as well. Illis, I think, also had a tiny bit more trouble with the guards.
Hello there.
Hey there.
Oh. Hey guys, I'm Yoko. Sorry for joining in so late for this daily race.
No worries. Do you want me to give you the latest?
Yes, please.
Alright, so basically not too much happened besides we found a power glove right off the bat in Link's house. We have a green pendant at Hera, crystals at Eastern and Desert, and we found 2 items in the front of Escape, the blue boomerang and a pack of bombs, and another pack of bombs in the Uncle chest. So Back of Escape is already not an issue. And Illis spent a little more time trying to find a bomb in front of Link's house, picking up the rocks, but in the meantime, we're now just going through the sewers. And yes, we did find the blue boomerang in the first chest of the front of Escape.
Okay.
Now, just one little fun fact for folks watching. You may notice that our runners are given a lamp cone. That is a courtesy of the randomizer, where basically we call this Zelda's cone, where regardless of whether or not you have the lamp, because this is a standard seed, there is a significant possibility you may not get the lamp before this segment. So the game provides a free lamp cone for you, but only for this escape sequence.
And Goomba now making his way to those 3 chests. We have money, more money, and a...
All right, looks like Goomba is going to be the first one out of escape at about 550. For his reward in the Sanctuary chest, he receives a Moon Pearl.
This part of our Dark World access.
As a matter of fact, that's 2 pieces of the puzzle already from the escape alone.
Right.
And Illis about a minute 15 behind getting out of escape.
Meanwhile, Goomba doing the tree pull, picks up some bombs from that.
And we see a heart container growing in the Lost Woods. You know, hearts grow naturally in the woods, as they do in the Zelda universe.
Definitely.
How about another one? His hideout.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Looks like neither of our runners went to go check the lumberjack. So really, that's a check you can either see now or when when runners get the boots, simply because they're required for the lumberjack item.
Right, normally most everyone decides to just route Lumberjack Cave and then go into the Lost Wood.
All right, we have Goomba going into the back of Blind's hideout. We'll see what he finds in here. Illis right behind.
Half magic, that's always good to have. And especially in this early stage of the game.
Yeah, especially since we're going to probably need it for, if not Skullwoods, for Turtle Rock, because we, well, actually, no, there's 2 pendants in the Dark World this seed. I take... All right, in the back of the well, we find some cash, as well as another heart container. That's 4 heart containers.
And a piece of a heart container.
And we get an amazing return from the bottle vendor. Pay 100 rupees, get 300 back.
Well, Link went plus 200 on that one. Alright, in the back of the chicken coop, just 20 rupees.
Ooh, how about the magic mirror in the back of the tavern? That does make some routing through the Dark World a little bit easier.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Finding that now. Having that now.
And that would only be 10 sticks in the library. Meanwhile, Goomba is going to blind check the race game.
Just for 20 rupees.
Opts to save and quit and start from Link's house. Probably gonna head over to South Shore.
Looks like Goomba is making their way over to down to the dam first.
Yes, and with the magic mirror, very convenient that both runners picked up the mirror as early as they did, because they can just delete that block in front of the chest using a glitch with the mirror and get both the dam chest and the item underwater in one.
Right, and with that, the chest did have the first shield.
Looks like Goomba's next stop is going to be to check the desert area, hopefully check the desert ledge and Agina's cave.
And meanwhile, Illis making their way over to the South Shore area.
Nice double with the left side bomb from Illis. Just a big 20 in Agina's.
There and the red boomerang now in the mini Moldorm cave.
Yeah, not much in Mini Moldorm Cave this time around. Alright, Illis now going to make the long walk over to the Ice Rod Cave. And just 50 bucks in Ice Rod Cave, so we'll see where Illis decides to go next. He is going to farm up rupees, it looks like, to pay for...
I guess we could say that was some cold, hard cash.
Oh, yes. Now, with the Moon Pearl, Illis is going to fake Flipper to the Zora area, and with the Moon Pearl, he can set up a water walk, which will allow him to check the Waterfall Fairy chests as well. But he's going to make a... Sorry, you first.
I was just going to say the same thing. He's Illis making a quick detour over to the...
This seat has been ridiculously explosive, I gotta say. I think we've now seen 4 3-bomb packs so far, and 2 of them were in the front of Escape. I noticed that we did not... I actually missed what was on the Lake Hylia.
I missed that too. I didn't... Oh, and Illis taking a death on... The one thing is with that fake flipper glitch, once you have to be careful with not taking a hit, because once you take a hit, it's an insta-death on that one. And Goomba picking up a bottle from one of the waterfall fairy chests as
Yeah, that death is actually, it's coded into the randomizer as sort of a soft lock prevention, because in vanilla Link to the Past, getting hit while in fake flipper would be a soft lock rather than a insta-death, but to prevent the soft lock, a hit during a fake flipper now just outright.
it was checking out Sahashila's hut. Meanwhile, 500 rupees gets us more.
Ooh, how about the Cane of Samaria in the back of Sahasrara's closet? That's one of those things that's really nice to have, but isn't going to give us much in the way of progression just yet.
Right.
And Goomba confirms, and I think someone in chat mentioned this earlier, that it was a shield on Lake Hylia Island.
Okay.
From Sahas to Eastern Palace. And Goomba is heading right behind him, going into Sahasrara's closet now. Zora's Ledge, I believe, was a big 20.
Right. Well, he ripped us off again for 500 rupees.
Yeah, as I always like to say, scammed. Now, this... You first, I'm sorry.
Blue tunic. It was picking up the blue tilt. The blue tilt.
And it's definitely going to add to the amount of safety we're seeing from our runners this seed, especially since we already have 8 hearts, and we haven't even found Dark World access or cleared a dungeon.
Right. Now, also with this, if the bow is not in here, they're just going to run through, and it will not be completable, but they are able to get the items up there, and there is the Titan's Mitts. The power... Yeah, no, that's it. Those are the Titan's Mitts.
Yep, that is going to give us a good chunk of Dark World access right off the bat.
And it was saving and quitting on that.
Yeah, it makes sense, because the lamp and the bow, neither the lamp nor the bow can be behind either the big chest or the chest in the, big key chest this early.
Right.
So we gotta find those first. Actually, that big key chest would have been vanilla now that I think about it. Because the big key can't be on Armos Knights in Eastern, right?
It could be.
Well, even then, you can't get to Armos Knights without the big key.
Alright, we had a map check there. It looked like... Skull Woods was another pendant dungeon, along with... I believe...
Looked like Thieves Town. And I saw a 5-6 crystal at Mire. Not sure about the other.
Turtle Rock.
So we have vanilla 5-6 crystals. I'm sorry, no, Turtle Rocks is 7. Vanilla would be Ice and Mire. Never.
It was making their way through Skull Woods.
Yeah, finding the Cane of Samaria that early makes Skull Woods a little bit easier, especially when getting to that back area with the Vanilla Big. That is the Vanilla Big chip.
Yeah.
I've been watching so much Rando that I almost don't remember where vanilla stuff is at this point.
Yeah, same boat. I remember a while back with when the SNES Classic came out, my one friend invited me over to play Link to the Past. I'm trying to use randomizer struts on the vanilla.
Goomba finding that if Illis had gone back for the big key, it would have just been a single rupee in the big chest.
Ah.
Meanwhile, a big 20 in the Skull Woods big chest. And I believe that is all the items in Eastern Palace, so chat says. And we find another big 20 in Skull Woods, so next to the big chest. So that is both of the Skull Woods items.
Now, I would not be surprised if Illis here takes a dive into at least Thieves Town to pick up those 4 chests.
Yeah, they're right there, and it's really easy to reach. And we find another green rupee in the C-shaped hut. First chest in Thieves Town is the big key. It has to be in the first 4 chests.
Oh, another full heart container.
Goomba has picked up his first big 20 from the big chest in Skullwood. And wow, Front of Thieves Town only had 1 item, and that was the heart container.
Right.
There's still 3 items in the back of Skull Woods, one of which may be hammer-locked. And there was just a hard piece in the chest game. The back of the brewery just has another hard piece. And Goomba's now going to be following in Illis's footsteps, doing the same Thieves Town Village of Outcasts check. Illis opting to do the digging game before he could do the Smith chain with his Titan's Mitts and me.
Right.
Probably going to route that in as soon as he finishes digging.
All that for a bottle.
Only 5 digs, though. It can be anywhere from 1 to 30 digs, so 5 is at least gracious in that regard, so it won't take too long to get that. Both of our runners can now also check Sick Kid. And in fact, it looks like that's exactly what Illis is going to do.
Nice routing on that too for Illis.
Gets rewarded with the Quake Medallion, one of the 3 medallions that could be required to enter Mire or Total Rock today. We will not know until we actually go to those 2 dungeons and see for ourselves.
Right. One requires us to actually them to go through Death Mountain. We know that they're probably very good with doing dark room strats as.
Oh, absolutely.
And another heart container for taking in the smiths.
Right, Illis now going to take the purple chest. We'll see what's in that. We have not seen a hint yet for what could be in the purple chest. In fact, I think the only hint we've gotten so far was the hint in Eastern about a unique item requiring the hand. But that could be a lot of locations, unfortunately, so not much to isolate with that.
Right. And it was making a quick pit stop at K45. Does not pick up the 5 route.
Goomba elects to farm some rupees with the archery game. There is a strategy for if you fire each arrow from a specific position right next to the when the targets are in a specific position, right when you're standing next to the vendor, you're pretty much guaranteed to hit every time for I think 2 or 3 playthroughs. Then you got to enter and exit again. Illis has left the purple chest behind and is now going into Hype Cave.
Well, this is it. Let's see what we got. There's the hammer.
That's pretty hype.
There's our master sword.
So hammer and another sword upgrade. That's a pretty hype cave. I would say 2 really good items. I would give that at least a 6 or 7.
I'll give it a 7.5.
Maybe add an extra point on my end just because it was the hammer and that's one of the bigger progression items.
Definitely.
And meanwhile, the purple chest will give Illis another hard piece. Both our runners now already standing at 11 hearts with no dungeon clears yet. Illis now routing in his Agena Cave check. Gonna get his, I believe this was a big 20.
Yes. If I remember correctly, that was a 20 there. So that's at least now we're starting to run out of places to check as well.
Yeah, the only options we have are we can't even get over to Eastern Dark World yet because we don't have the flip. Oh, well, we have the hammer actually. Yes, we can. So I take that back.
Yep.
I feel like back at Thieves Town might be the better play right now because there are still 3 items back there. Illis is going to give us, I assume this is a lumberjack check. And it is just a heart piece in the lumberjack ledge. So Aghanim 1 is pretty much done.
And that's always a good thing, because who wants to spend more time climbing up the tower to defeat that?
Oh, yes.
It was attempting to go through the cave up Death Mountain in the dark, and from past we know that Ellis is very skilled in completing some of these dark rooms.
All right, Goomba about to get his hammer and sword from Hype Cave.
And for doing our good deed of returning the old man back to his cave, he gives us a piece of his heart.
Ooh, there's our lamp. Which means the flute has got to be somewhere back on the ground.
Or, well, since we're also in the vicinity, it could also be in the Tower of Hera, too.
Well, then how could we, it couldn't have been in Tower of Hera because we couldn't have gone up to Death Mountain without, flute or lamp.
Right. Probably either in the back, somewhere I would say probably in either Thieves Town or in, or in Eastern.
Palace of Dark.
Pod? Yeah, I could probably see it also being in Pod, and there's our magic powder.
Also interesting with that hint saying a unique item is in the sanctuary, which we had to pass through anyway through the start anyway, since it's a standard seed, so thanks.
Goomba having some fun pounding in the pegs. And just a single arrow.
You wonder if that's the unique item that required the hammer.
And we got another one item, internal rock.
Now that could pretty much be anything. Be hilarious if it was the ice rod.
Got the mushroom though, so fetch quest anyone?
Yeah, 2 fetch quest items in Tower of Hera. And we can actually access both of them right now too. The hammer and the powder lets us check Magic Bat, so we don't even need to use fake powder. Goomba is diving the back of Thieves Town now. And Chad makes a good point. This is also the green pendant, so with this, Illis will also be able to check what the Kakariko Village Elder is carrying. Luckily, though, does not need to go to the basement since we already found both items. So no coffee break for Illis, unfortunately. Goomba telling us that a piece of heart is above the pose. That would be referring to Graveyard Ledge, meaning that is not required this. Actually, quite a convenient hint because anytime a hint can tell you where not to go that you haven't been to already, it always saves time.
And 300 rupees on the ledge up there.
Illis now taking the long walk through Spiral Cave. Can be a bit of a tough slog without the Pegasus boots. Illis giving us our first look at Dark Death Mountain as well. And we get our small key. Oops, sorry, you first.
Small key for over on Goomba's side, and it was checking a paradox key.
And our last item is guaranteed to be on blind, since we found a small key in the Maiden Cell. Little fun fact about the key logic for Thieves' Town. If you do not see the small key before the Maiden Cell, that means that the small key has locked itself in the big chest, because the logic assumes you're going to use your keys in the worst possible way.
And it was picking up the cape from Paradox.
Not much in Paradox Cave, all things considering. Goomba, meanwhile, following the blind script pretty much to the T, and gets him down with no issue whatsoever.
And all that for just 5 rupees.
So back of Thieves' Town was not the logical play to get up to Death Mountain, so you gotta figure it's either Pyramid Fairy, Catfish, maybe the first chest in Pod, as unlikely as it seems.
And we're going to get a look at what we need for Turtle Rock, and it is indeed quite...
Yeah, that's certainly nice to get off your mind early. We have a sword on the bumper ledge.
That's 3 sword locations now.
And interestingly, Illis not opting to go into Turtle Rock to check the hint, even though he could open the front door. He's going to Spike Cave instead. With that cape, it does put Spike Cave in logic.
And plus, he also has half magic too, so that's always a plus when going through this.
Yeah, absolutely. Gets rewarded with another fairy. Actually, come to think of it, everything on Dark Death Mountain is still not in logic yet, because we still don't know where that flute is.
Right.
And someone in chat just confirmed that as well. So yeah,
I will put my money on either it being with the witch, being it that it's a turn-in quest for the mushroom, or it's over with Catfish.
Well, it wouldn't be on the witch, because if the mushroom's in Tower of Hera, Death Mountain's still not in logic yet. So I think it would have to be, yeah, Pyramid or Catfish.
Right.
Goomba revealing that something sharp is with a Great Fairy, which means I think that puts Buttersword on Pyramid Fairy.
Right. Yeah, that does sound logic with that. Either that or Silvers.
Oh, do Silvers qualify as something sharp?
Yep.
I always thought it was referred to as sword. But yeah, the three swords we know, one was definitely on guaranteed on the Uncle. The other was Hype Cave. The third was Bumper. Bumper.
And the possible fourth could be with Pyramid Fairy, or that could be the Silver Arrows as well.
Someone in chat is saying that something sharp is always a sword. If that is the case, then the Butter Sword is guaranteed to be on Pyramid.
Okay. I always, I kind of look at it differently. I look at the arrows as being sharp too.
I think Koi is giving us the technical code to confirm that for. Both of our runners pretty much just retracing each other's steps at this point. Illis going through the back of Thieves Town while Goomba is checking out is sequence breaking Death Mountain as well. So at this point, what our runners really need to do, if they at least want to snap this logic puzzle back together, is they got to check out East Dark World. It seems like that's where our progression is, because we have not found anything in back of Thieves Town or Dark Death Mountain, and we've already cleared out Skull Wood.
Right. Plus, we also don't know what that item that Aghanim Sahashala is holding for us as well.
Right, we've not seen the green pendant turn on, although that can't be the flute either, because that was the Tower of Hera.
Right.
And we didn't mention this earlier, but a baker's job is a piece of cake, according to.
Could also be. Would that also put the book into logic as well?
The book?
Yeah. Because none of them have been over to Desert yet as well, so maybe finding the book opens up Desert. Progression could also be over in Desert Palace as well.
Possibly. Both runners checked the Gina, but they didn't check the Desert Ledge.
Right.
We have not had a pedestal check yet either. We can't even read it without the book. Come to think of it, literally the only thing needed to put pedestal into logic at this point is the fire rock. And the flute to get up to Death Mountain. That's about it.
There's one other spot that we haven't checked yet as well, too.
Do tell.
Stumpy.
Actually, we did check Stumpy. Illis checked it while he had the purple chest. It was just a big 20.
Okay.
Alright, Goomba has come down from the mountain. We'll see what the next port of call is on his docket. Meanwhile, Illis treks through Bumper Cave to pick up his Tempered Sword. Someone in chat is hoping for Flute to be on the vanilla spot, which it could very well be if we find the shovel someplace along the. Techno, flute cannot be on the pedestal because the flute is our logical access to Death Mountain because the lamp is on Spectacle Rock, and Hera is a pendant, so flute cannot be on pedestal. In fact,
and there's flute, and there's the flute on the pyramid. That's an expensive flute.
Yeah, what's it doing all the way up there?
Waiting for somebody to solve 6 clues in under 60 seconds.
Yeah, but you guys may have heard a loud clicking and sort of puzzle piece sound. That is the logic finally snapping.
Illa's checking out the mad batter, and I missed what the bat gave out.
It was only a pack of bombs. Goomba immediately activating that flute. Get your 07s in chat. For the goose is loose. Yes, Hype Cave was checked. It had hammer and a master sword. Goomba did not dip Tower of Hera yet. To answer a question in chat. Meanwhile, Illis finally grabbing his flute, and now his logic chain will be snapping. Oh yeah, Goomba did dip Hera because he has the powder. So he didn't go to the top of Hera. My apologies. Goomba is now giving us our first check of the Mire area, and we will see what medallion is required for Misery Mire, and it is the Ether Medallion. So we have vanilla medallions today, ladies and gentlemen.
That is very rare for that to happen. There's Bombos in the Mire Shed, and the mushroom gets us the flipper.
So Tower of Hera dip absolutely required for this seed. And Goomba decides to route in Desert while he's at it to check to see if it is boots locked.
Let's hope it isn't.
It is not boots locked today.
So no commentator's curse.
But there's always money in the banana stand.
Oh, definitely. Illis checking out catfish, and the catfish gives us just 20 rupees.
Both Grumpy Fish is only giving us 20 rupees. Meanwhile, Illis is going to be able to make the flipper checks he could not earlier due to the fake flipper death and get his third bottle. And there are the silver arrows in the right side of Desert Palace. So at least that won't be a problem when we have to fight Ganon. And with a fire source, desert is full clearable with the lamp. Now, with the Bombos medallion and the flippers, that does make Ice Palace full clearable. Though neither runner can do so yet, because Goomba still needs the flippers from the mushroom, and Illa still needs to go get Bombos and Myra. To answer question in chat, the flippers were on the mushroom. The mushroom is in the big chest in Tower of Hera, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. It's in the, yeah. Mushroom was in the big chest. That led us seeing the flipper from the witch.
Goomba, meanwhile, having absolutely no trouble taking down Lanmola.
And Illis now making their way over to the Mire area.
I wouldn't be surprised if Illis chooses to route in Desert along with this check of the Mire Shed. And I believe we've only seen one item in Desert, because Goomba is going back in.
But I don't think Goomba did the other side. No.
No, he did not check.
Right.
He didn't check the big chest.
Right.
So we'll see what that is now.
And that is the blue cane.
Another one of those nice safety items, but unfortunately, since we already have the cape and half magic, not the most useful. Meanwhile, with the mirror in hand, Goomba now giving us a look at Checkerboard Cave.
And a full heart container in there that he just passes.
Yeah, at 13 hearts blue mail, I don't think heart containers are going to be on the forefront of our runners' to-do list anytime soon.
Nah.
Especially with 2 or 3 bottles, they can just pick up a couple blue bottles of blue goo, and they'll pretty much be good.
Illis picking up his silvers. I kind of look at the blue goo as Mountain Dew Volt.
Ah. But yeah, chat is saying, and it does seem like Ice Palace is the next good play, because we got 3 items and 3 hints. We just got access to it thanks to Flippers. And we have Bombos from Mire Shed, so let's see what we have in Ice Palace today.
Right, as Goomba makes the play into ice.
And we learned that some cash is in Thieves Town. Thanks, game.
What was that hint about 50 minutes ago? Right?
Yeah, pretty much the entire back of Thieves Town. There's some cash. First item in Ice Palace is just a big 20. And Illis also taking out Lanmolas with very little difficulty. And that is a really nice hint right there. A compass and bombs are in left side Swamp Palace, so no reason to go there this.
Goomba's setting up for the bomb jump.
We have not seen the Pegasus boots yet at this point in time to answer a question in chat.
Our runners are still in the hunt for that. And meanwhile, Illa's picking up his blue cane.
And I did just look back on the VOD to confirm the hint for Left Side Swamp did in fact say some bombs. There were some people in chat who thought it had said the boot. Both of our runners now dipping, going through Ice Palace. Only a compass in the Ice H room. I call it the Ice H room. Meanwhile, Goomba finding the book in Ice Palace. We've already cleared desert, so the only things that really puts into logic are the tablets. And our third hint in Ice Palace reads, well, there's your boots hint. It's in Turtle Rock, ladies and gentlemen. So yes, in any link to the past seed with hints enabled, there is a guaranteed boots hint, and that was that hint right. And we also got a hint earlier that said a unique item is in Turtle Rock as well. It is possible that that is referring to the boots as well, or there could be a second unique item. Turtle Rock, if I'm not mistaken, has 5 items total.
I will pull up my my tracker and I'll let you know in just a second.
Meanwhile, Goomba is making his way to the Cold Stare fight. Does not have a fire rod and did not pick up the tempered sword on Bumper Cave. So this is going to be it's going to be a little interesting to see what strategy he chooses for this one. Because Cold Stare is no joke, even on Blue Mail 13 Hearts.
Okay, we wanted to know how many chests were in which one?
Turtle Rock, is it? Chat is saying 5 plus Mimic.
It is 5.
Excellent. Goomba opting for Hammer Strats on Cold Stare. That's the first puff down, second puff down, third puff right behind it, so not too bad of a Cold Stare fight. Gets rewarded with the Ice Rod. How appropriate. So once we find our Fire Rod, that makes Turtle Rock full clearable.
Right.
And Goomba is now making his way to Palace of Darkness, looks like.
Hopefully we find the bow over in the pod side. Otherwise, we're still going to be bow locked for that.
Yeah, and it's going to be really interesting to see if that bow shows up, because if I'm not mistaken, bow at this point could be on the pedestal. The only thing we're missing to put pedestal into logic at this point is the fire rock.
Right. And we know chat does definitely love a ped.
I've only caught one pedestal seed live, and it was for the ether medallion. I think it was a required ether from Meyer.
I actually commentated for one a while back. Which led to this big long fetch quest to item being in the tile room of Ganon's tower.
Oh boy. We've confirmed that pod is not bow locked, as we have a small key in the first chest.
Right.
Illis is now taking on Cold Stare. With Tempered Sword, he'll have a little less trouble putting the puffs to a corner, and absolutely flawless Cold Stare fight on Illis.
There's the map.
As Palace of Darkness, also known as the Palace of Keys, there are 6 small keys in chests for Palace of Darkness. Usually they're all in the front, if not most of them.
Something required. The clue said something required boots.
That would be a piece of heart. And Goomba is electing to potion glitch to get to the bow-locked side of Palace of Darkness. What that is by drinking a potion while walking to the left, he offsets the camera, allowing the camera to move while in that mimic room, allowing him to basically pull the mimics off the screen, and which leads the game to believe the mimics are gone, and therefore the door will. And Illis is now following in Goomba's footsteps, heading into Palace of Darkness, and we find the fire rod right before the basement of Pop. So that gives us a couple of options. We can now full clear Turtle Rock, and we can now get what we need to pull the pedestal.
Right.
Also, I just looked back to confirm, but there were 10 sticks on the green pendant. Illis went and checked those just before dipping Pop. So nothing on the green pendant today, but who knows if the other 2 pendants may yield something important at this rate.
Right, and Goomba picking up the master dungeon key from that first chest. And all of that just for a piece of heart.
Yes, and with that fire rod in hand, he chooses to go to Death Mountain, most likely going to Turtle Rock.
Yeah, I probably would. That, plus we have the red cane, so... Yeah, we can full clear that.
Yeah, we know for a fact, and this will guarantee that Goomba will get his boots. Not sure what else we're gonna find in T.
Hopefully some good items on Laser Bridge.
Yeah, everybody, one common request I hear from chat is bow on, in other seeds, is bow on Laser Bridge, and I have seen that.
That is the one thing I have yet to find out. But Goomba did pick up the book, so we are going to get a tablet check as well.
And for the Ether tablet, we just get another pack of bombs. Answer a question in chat. We do not know where Ether currently is. And we know that the fourth sword is on the Pyramid Fairy. We got a hint earlier that said something sharp is with a Great Fairy, and we've seen the other three swords, and neither of them were on a Great Fairy. Goomba's going to be making his way to Turtle Rock, still electing to pass Tower of Hera, which logically is still required for the flippers. And he's going to need those flippers if he wants to do Swamp Palace. He might do it on the way out. We'll see. Illis now wrapping up his clearance of pod, and we get a bombs in Mimic Cave hint. Very convenient of all places for that hint to be there, because that at least allows you to skip Mimic Cave at the last.
Illis right behind, making his way over to Turtle Rock as well.
Yeah, with the boots, that's going to give us a check of Bonk Rocks and King's Tomb. Not much else, though, since we've already cleared Desert. It does at least give us insurance against Big Key on the GT Torch.
Goomba having to solve that puzzle the long way.
One chest we could check actually is the first chest of Hookshot Cave, since we have since we will get the boots here.
Right, we can bonk into that.
Alright, Goomba is now going to check the Vanilla Big Key chest as Illis makes his first dip into Turtle Rock. Just a compass in the Big Key chest. So I think the big question on our runner's mind at this point is, where is that? I think in particular, the two things they really want to find are bow and hookshot first, because that'll allow them to combo Pod and Eastern, as well as get Swamp out of the way. And we know left side
Right.
Swamp has nothing important. And only another small key in the big chest, so it looks like Laser Bridge is next up on the dock. To answer a question in chat, we had a hint right in the beginning of Eternal Rock, actually, that said there are bombs in Mimic. Goomba is tanking all of the firebar hits as he makes his way through the dark elevator.
Normally, you would, if you had the hook shot, you would use that to negate the damage.
And let's see what we have on Laser Bridge today. Starting off with
a full heart container. There's our hook shot. And there's the shovel. And a small key. So, shovel and hook shot on that bridge.
Yeah, that's not a bad laser bridge, but it also confirms that the boots are on Trinex. So several unique items in Turtle Rock, so who knows what that unique item in Turtle Rock hint could have been referring to at this point, but at this point we have all those unique items, save for the boots, which we will get momentarily with the defeat of Trinex. Now, what's going to be really interesting is Goomba going to go to Tower of Hera after this to pick up the mushroom, or is he going to decide to go to Swamp? Oh, wait, he can't go to Swamp. He doesn't have...
He doesn't have the flippers.
So, the other question would be Mire, not Swamp.
Goomba making quick work of the first two heads. And nice work with the hammer on Trinex for Goomba, and Trinex goes down, giving him the crystal for that and the boot.
And with the hook shot, this also puts Pyramid Fairy into logic since Mire is now full clearable. We know that there's a sword there, but we don't know what else is there. To answer a question in chat, flippers were on the mushroom from the witch's hut, which the mushroom is in Tower of Hera's big. And with Hookshot in hand, we can now check out Hookshot Cave.
Red mail.
Another nice, really nice safety to have, but unfortunately no progression in Hookshot Cave. Goomba is heading back towards Tower of Hera, maybe choosing to finish it now. And it looks like that's exactly what he is doing. This is going to work out, because this will give him his flippers right in time for deciding whether or not to dip Mire or Swamp. Oh, right, we can't get into Mire anyway without Ether Medallion. Thank you, chat. So yeah, you have to figure after Goomba gets the flippers that Swamp is probably going to be next up for our runners. Goomba getting the hint that a unique item is in Turtle Rock after already full clearing the dungeon. Illis is now making his quick leap through Hookshot Cave and will get his red mail. To answer a question in chat, Sahasrara had only 10 arrows on the green pendant, so there was the green pendant was not required for Sahasrara, or for his item, I should say. Meanwhile, Goomba has gotten his green pendant, and now let's see what he does next. Illis is heading, looks like he's headed straight for Swamp Palace. There are 6 items up for grabs in Swamp, and 1 hint. Actually, it's only 5 items, because we know that there is 1 item in Left Side Swamp. I think it was bombs. Yeah, bombs in Left Side Swamp. So there are going to be 5 items, unknown items up for grabs here. And Goomba picking up his 3rd bottle in Spike Cave. And Illis is the...
I was going to say Illis the first to make their way into Swamp Palace. Well, Goomba checks, I think that was Bunk Rocks.
It was. And we get the hint that says, once again, the boots are in Turtle Rock, which we would have had to get the hookshot in Turtle Rock before getting the boots, so thanks. No, Runner Watcher. The hints, that hint in Ice Palace said that it was some bombs and a compass in Left Side Swamp. We had another, and the next hint right after that said the boots were in Turtle Rock, but ladies and gentlemen, get your pedestal hype in. I have a better defense in front of you, and that would mean that it is a shield on the pedestal. So, unfortunately, Pet is dead.
Oh.
A bit unfortunate, considering there were quite a couple of candidates, two good candidates still for pedestal, being Ether and Bo, but now we know they are not there.
Right. $1,000,000 question is, where could they be? As Illis makes the way through Swamp Palace and Goomba picking up their flippers.
Yeah, he elected to do a nice, to take a nice dip in the river there, while he was waiting for the mushroom. And at this point, Chad is mentioning, and at this point I'd have to agree, I think our progression has to be in Swamp Palace at this point. It could be on Bombo's tablet. But yeah, it seems Swamp Palace is definitely definitely the play, I should say. To answer another question in chat, we found both Skull Woods items. They were both 20 rupees. Both in the front of Skull Woods. Illis is going back to pick up the item in the big chest, and it is the Ether Medallion. So now we can full clear Mire, which means we are waiting for our bow at this point. We are in bow mode, as is commonly referred to.
And only Bo knows.
Now the question...
Yep, I was just going to say the same thing. Now the question is, it comes down to where is that bow?
It still could be on Argus, or it could be in Mire. And apparently, Goomba did not check King's Tomb while he was doing the boots checks, according to chat. And Illis is now taking on Argus. Shouldn't be too much trouble with the Tempered Sword, since the Tempered Sword can take out an Argai Puff in just one slap.
But, and with help from that hook shot as well, too. Down goes Argus. Illis picking up the crystal for Swamp, and only 20 rupees for his trouble.
So now the question becomes, where do we go from here? Illis is looking to check the Bombos tablet, it would seem. And we raise our sword to the sky. There's explosions all around, but we just get a piece of heart. And looks like Illis's next stop is, in fact, Misery Mire.
That's probably what it's the... I would say it's probably... It has to be the last place for the bow.
If not King's Tomb.
Right.
And Goomba is electing to not go back for the Swamp Palace big chest, which we know that's where Ether is. He is gonna unfortunately have to walk back in to go pick that up later. Should also be noticed that Illis just did the bird toss before heading into Mire. Chat brings up another good point. We also have the dig spot. That was not checked yet. Meanwhile, Goomba taking down Argus needs a little bit more time since he is limited to Master Sword for that fight, but still gets him down, gets another crystal, and we'll see if he goes back in for his Ether Medallion.
We hope so.
And it looks like he's going back in. And now we're going to get to take a look at what's in the Firelock side of Misery Mire. We start with a small key, which I believe that is the third Mire small key.
Fingers crossed that this has the bow in it.
Yeah, this would be one heck of a spot for it at this point. It's right along the way. Illis opting not to check the hint, but does get the big key. Now, all things considering, this has been a pretty tight race. Because Goomba's now just entering Mire, only a couple of minutes behind Illis. Just a map in the big chest of Mire. Still no sign of that bow.
Might be here. No, just a piece of heart.
And I'm trying to remember, was that 2 items or was that 3? Because I know there's 3 items in Mire.
Yes, I believe so.
And I can't remember if that was our second item or our third. It was our second, so our third item is going to be on Vitreous.
And hopefully that's the bow.
Yeah, although that would be a pretty rude bow spot, because especially with silver arrows, the bow would make Vitreous a cakewalk. Still though, Illis does have Magic Cape and Tempered Sword, so he could of course use that as a backup strike. Oh, chat's confirming that there's only 2 items in Misery Mire. I'm thinking Key Sanity where there's 3 small keys in Mire. My bad. Oh, and we get another... Oh wait, no, that's Goomba's Big 20. I take that back. But with this clear, this will put Pyramid Fairy into logic, which also could have the bow.
Yeah. So, where would you check next after this? Once, let's say, after you completed this, what would be your next move to check?
If I were both of our runners at this point, I would say... Actually, a good idea would be Dig Spot to Pyramid Fairy, because that's 2 items you don't know about, plus the Butter Sword.
Right. I would follow in that same logic as well. Dig Spot, then check out Pyramid Fairy. Illis with the quick save and quit, the save and read.
And Goomba elects to check the hint and determines that a glove is in Eastern Palace. Well, we couldn't have gotten in here without the Titan's mitts anyway, so thanks. Meanwhile, Illis giving us our look at the King's Tomb.
One of the very few spots we have yet to check.
And not a bow, but sticks for the bow. So that leaves Dig Spot, Pyramid Fairy, and that's it, I think.
Yeah, 2 locations left. And Bunk Rocks.
We checked Bonk Rocks already. That was a piece of
Oh,
heart.
right. Sometimes with so much going on, you lose track of what's already been checked.
No worries. Meanwhile, Illis is going to read his disappointing news that there is only a shield on the pedestal. Goomba was successfully able to perform the spooky action glitch to get past that switch, those 2 switches in Mire. Unfortunately, I'm not really familiar with how spooky action works.
Same here.
And Illis is now, looks like he's going to give us our look at the dig spot. So we will finally see what that shovel on Laser Bridge yields. Just a rupee hoard. Would have been hilarious if that was the bow, because then you could technically say the way to the bow was on Laser Bridge.
Right. Now it all comes down to Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah, if it's not here, I'm at a loss. Although I'm pretty sure at this point it has to be in Pyramid Fair. Answer your question, Chad. Both Skullwood's items were already found, so the bow cannot be on Mothula. And Illis is trying to perform a bomb dupe, and it looks like he did not pull it off.
I am not familiar with that one.
Same. Although it looked close for a second, because I thought I saw the bomb on screen for a split second on the pyramid screen before it disappeared. It elects not to try it again. And this will at least guarantee Illis Butter Sword, but I'm not sure about the bow. Pretty sure it's here. And indeed it is. So at 1 hour 35 minutes, Illis is now in go mode.
Finally! About time we found that bow.
Yeah, and considering how late it is, we really couldn't get the bow much faster because we had to get the fire rod in pod, which, by the way, pod was a required double dip for sure.
Definitely.
We had to full clear TR. We had to full clear Ice Palace to get the ice rod. Then we had to go into Turtle Rock to get Hookshot, to go to Swamp Palace, which had Ether, so we can get into Mire, which had the last 5-6 crystal. What a chain.
A combination guaranteed to make our runners say, whew.
Chad brings up a good point. Illis does actually still have to get the vanilla big key in Eastern. He elected to nope out of Eastern before picking up that big key.
Right. But now that we have the bow, I think Illis is just going to fast clear Pod here and then just go right and then warp over to doing Eastern like as what everyone does, and then just go from there to probably Meyer, and then go up to Hera to Ganon's Tower.
Illis actually cleared Misery Mire. It's just not marked on his tracker.
All right.
So
I'm going by what's on the tracker there then. But yeah, he can fast clear this and Eastern, and then just head right to GT.
And Goomba, meanwhile, is on his way to Palace of Darkness after picking up his bow and Tempered Sword. It should be noted, he was able to pull off the bomb dupe. So at this point, both of our runners are in go mode, and it is going to be all down to execution and GT big key guessing routing at this point. And Goomba will get a few, an extra minute or so on Illis when he dips Eastern Palace, since he does not need to go back for the big key. And both of our runners have at least a Tempered Sword, so they'll be on at least Tempered Sword, Silver Arrows, Ganon, so the Ganon will be pretty much a cakewalk for our runners.
Been a while since I've had a commentator see where we got the butter.
In fact, on the subject of our runners, let's just take a moment to shout these wonderful folks out who are putting on quite a show for you on this fine Thursday afternoon. So take a moment to go follow those guys when you get the chance. Both were teammates in the A Link to the Past Randomizer League earlier this year. Both members of the Last Locationers.
Yes. And also, we can't forget about our tracker, who is diligently working behind the scenes, keeping up with us and both of our runners as well. Illis picking up that pod crystal, and we'll quickly warp over to Eastern.
And Goomba right behind. He'll be taking on Helmasaur in just a couple of seconds here. And Illis nailing the silver arrow right into, Goomba nailing the silver arrow right into the forehead of Helmasaur. He will get his 6th crystal and soon be following over to Eastern Palace. And once we see our runners clear the big key door in Eastern Palace, this will give us a good idea of where our runners stand in terms of their position. Illis has now picked up the big key. Goomba clearing the Stalfos room quickly, and we are going to be pretty much neck and neck here going to the back of Eastern Palace. Illis enters at 141.01, Goomba at 141.05. There is a 4-second difference between our runners.
We've got a race now.
To answer question, chat, the bow was on the Pyramid Fairy along with the fourth sword.
Illis making quick work of the pre-room, and it is neck and neck. Illis, the first one to enter the Armos Knight battle. Goomba right behind.
And blink and you'll miss it. Both Armos fights going by real quick.
Illis, the first one down. Goomba right behind by a tenth of, I would say like a couple tenths of a second and a tenth behind. The race is now on to Ganon's Tower.
And with the trek to Ganon's Tower beginning, there is a nice game we would like to play with you folks watching at home. There are 22 locations where the big key in the basement of Ganon's Tower where the big key can be located. So get your guesses in chat of which of those chests you think the big key can be in. Personally, I'm going to guess 2. I'm going to guess it's in the Hope Room.
I'm going to go with the number I always go with, and that is number 9.
And we are going to base our count by the first person to enter Ganon's Tower, which at this rate looks like it's going to be Illis, although Goomba is right behind him. Very luckily does not get dead rocked right there. I see a couple of 15s and 22s in the chat. A couple of folks guessing, I assume their 22 guesses the tile room.
Yeah, 22 is always going to be the tile room.
And with our 7 crystals in hand, Illis will be the first one to enter Ganon's Tower with Goomba. We'll see in just a second how close it is, but it is still neck and neck, ladies and gentlemen. Illis enters at 143.55-ish, with Goomba at 143.58. Both runners electing to check the right side first. First chest is a hard container. The second chest is a small. Both runners electing to continue into the right side of Ganon's Tower. Chest number 3, big 20. Chest number 4, our final bottle. Chest 5, a big chunk of rupees. And chest 6, a slightly smaller chunk of rupees.
Alright, we're going over to the left side now. Here we go. Go ahead.
Well, check number 7 just had a heart container, so Bob's torch, Bob lives today. Chest number 8 containing another small key. Chest number 9, another heart piece. Chest number 10, another heart piece. And another small key in 11. Lots of heart pieces in Ganon's Tower.
Uh, makes me wonder, maybe he gave up trying to hoarding all those heart pieces and losing to Link.
Who knows? The chest number 12 only had a big 20. In fact, due to some better execution, Goomba has actually pulled ahead just a tiny bit. He finds the compass in what will be chest number 13 for Illis. So next stop looks to be the Rando Room.
So named because we only see this in Randomizer. Here, I'll call these. 14 is the 20 rupees, 15 20 rupees, 16 20 rupees, and 17 a piece of heart.
Oh, now we know where Ganon's been hoarding all those big 20s. So only 2 more spots left, and that is Ice Armos and Tile Room.
Olus retaking the lead. Going into the
Oh, and of course Bob's chest. Hi, Bob.
No, piece of heart.
Ooh, Illis missing a couple of silver arrows, giving Goomba the lead once again.
There's the bug net. Small key. 20 rupees.
Ladies and gentlemen, the big key is in the Tile Room.
That is number 22.
And taking a look back in chat, the first person to guess 22 was Zero Wag. We are not running any bot guessing games, but congratulations, you are the quote-unquote winner of today's big key guess.
Give yourself a big... Everyone who played, give yourself a big round of applause and everything.
Goomba, the first to get the big key, and now it is a race to the top of Ganon's tower. Now, it should be noticed that while Illis does have Butter Sword, it doesn't do that much more damage over that Temper does over Master Sword. So it is still going to be a close race, regardless of who gets to Ganon first at the... Both of our runners are at least 16 hearts, red male. To answer a question in the chat, what did this seed do to our runners? It put the bow on Pyramid Fairy, and there was basically a 5 or 6 item chain to get to Pyramid Fairy in the first place.
I'm gonna go with 5. That's what I counted.
Yeah, I think it was 5.
And Goomba making quick work of the gauntlet. Goomba first to enter the Land Moles 2 fight. Illis first to get through it. And everything.
I'm pretty sure that we are down to a 1 second difference now in between our runners. This is going to be down to the wire, folks.
Goomba getting a little caught up on the bridge.
Ooh, Illis takes a fall in the torch room. Goomba the first into Mole Dorm 2.
Down goes Mortem. Do we have the... No, passes up on checking that final chest of the game. It has a... Final chest has a piece of heart in it. And now it is a mad dash to Agate. Illis one screen behind.
Still less than a 3-second gap between our runners. Goomba only getting a single, while Illis gets a triple on the first volley against Agate.
Goomba got a double on that one. Another double, it looked like. Illis! Down goes Aga on Illis' side. Down goes Aga on Goomba's side. It is neck and neck as we head to the final fight. I didn't mean to cut you off there, sorry.
Oh no worries. I'm pretty much just as equally unable to contain my hype as everybody else. Now we do want to point out, if our runners do cross the finish line within a second of each other, 2 seconds of each other, that does count as a tie.
I did not know that.
Oh, it's only in Torny's GFE and chat is clarifying with...
Oh, okay, but still, I did not know. But still, I did not know that.
My apologies, ladies and gentlemen. Ganon being extremely uncooperative with the teleportations here. And it is still a 2-second neck-and-neck difference here, as both of our runners will be going into Phase 4 pretty much in that same time. Ganon is asking if we found the arrows in Desert Palace, and we did.
And both of them missing the torch glitch.
Illis the first one to take down Ganon. Goomba right behind. Ladies and gentlemen, get your GGs in chat for both of these runners who have put up an amazing final race for you this afternoon.
And even the Triforce is saying OMG to this rate.
Yes, an absolutely phenomenal finish by our runners this afternoon. And Illis has finished in first of our restream runners with a official SRL time of 1:55.41. Goomba finishing in third place with a time of second place, with a time of 1:55.44. Illis and Goomba were second and third amongst our restream runners in the community race today. Our first place winner was Chloe Prower with a SRL time of 1:54.44. And we have Illis in here with us, but we cannot hear his audio.
Better now?
Much better, Illis. GG to you, sir.
GG. Good
Yeah,
race.
GG. That was close.
It's always pretty close between me and Goomba.
I
So
blame
it must
Aga
have been a
too.
fun
That was
watch.
awful.
Yeah, you both took down Agatu within about 2 seconds of each other. Really, the big race, it came down to pretty much your GT execute.
And even that was kind of similar, I suppose.
Actually, no, I blame land mode too. That was awful. Why, like, I have silvers. Why did I not one cycle? I almost 3 cycled. I just barely got the 2 cycle.
I will fix that.
Ugh. I mean,
Guess that
actually, I blame the heat
too.
more than anything.
Yeah, and especially one thing, especially considering that Goomba, you had to double dip Tower of Hera to get the flippers, to get the mushroom in the big.
Have to, but that didn't really hurt me because like I fake flippered into ice palace, got the ice rod, and just did Hera after Turtle Rock anyway. So like I didn't really lose anything by not doing it earlier.
Even still, that was. I've got no words. That was just such an amazing race.
And such an amazingly dumb seed.
Agreed.
Yeah, especially.
I had 6 item locations in the entire game that I didn't check, 4 of which were the 4 chests at the top of Ganon's tower. The only other things I didn't check in the entire game were Hobo and Catfish.
I checked those. The one thing I didn't check was the EP big chest, and I really didn't want to come back for a vanilla bow. So that one was left untouched.
I thought about just
But,
leaving EP after the mids, honestly. I thought about it.
Yeah, I cleared everything. But
Yeah.
basically everyone had been in last location of today.
Yeah, because it was like a 5-item chain to get to the bow, because you had to get. I'm trying to remember.
You needed the fire rod from Pod. To get
that
the
was
boots
it.
and the hook shot from Turtle Rock, to get ether from Swamp, and
to
then
get to Mire.
to do
get the
Mire,
crystal.
to get the
Yeah,
crystal.
and you also had to get your mushroom to turn it into flipper so you can go to swamp in the first place.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Also,
but anyway, folks, I'm sorry to
actually-
cut you off, but we do, we unfortunately do have to wrap things up today. So we're going to have to leave you guys here for today. But once again, GG to the runners, and a very major thank you to my co-commentator, Yo.
Glad to be here, even though I came in late, like 5 minutes late to this race. Thank you very much. Glad to help out.
And also a thank you to our tracker, Alan Heffrey, for today. Thank you guys all for coming to the, thank you folks for coming to this daily race of A Link to the Past randomizer, and we hope to see you guys for the next one. Take care, folks.
Yep, have a good day, everyone. See you later for the other one.